have specific footage that, like with Ross, where they have this IED attack, and and they're all amped and pumped, and they're laughing, and Ross talked about it, and some of the other guys just said that it became funny every day, where they're being blown up.
Right. And that's that high stimulus environment. Suddenly it's like that's how you operate. And so, most of us, if we saw an explosion, we probably, because we're not used to it, would only see the explosion. What we wouldn't see is the absurdity. What we wouldn't see is the little things that happen before, after, or during the explosion, that because we're used to seeing the explosion, we can see all that other stuff. And then suddenly, instead of just being focused on the explosion, I can be looking at you and watching your expression during the explosion and saying, man, you should have seen your face.
That actually, those comments would be great, because that's part of what they do.
Yeah.
There's video of them, and Ross turned the camera on right after.
Yeah.
And they're talking about it. He goes, I thought, he was dead. He was laying next to me. And, and they're laughing, and they're, and they're talking.
And that's exactly what happens, because you operate in this high stress environment, this high stimulus environment. You begin to see and think and feel differently. And now we come back and we say to them, and it's not like we give them sort of a program to bring them back into it. I mean, I understand that some of Ross's units was their way of bringing them back and helping them to learn in a low stimulus environment is they sent them off to play Iraqi insurgents. So every day they got to go out and play high stimulus environment, as opposed to putting them someplace where they could begin to learn to be back in a low stimulus environment of day-to-day life. I think that kind of thinking is not real good, and it doesn't help them. It may help in terms of the training process, but I would say, you've got to give them a chance to get used to being in a low stimulus environment. Playing an insurgent is not as high stimulus as being in combat, but it's still a long ways away from getting up, having breakfast, going to the office, doing your work, going home after work and playing with a child or having a conversation with your wife. That's day-to-day stuff.